All right, it's been a weird day. Hey, it's playoffs. Like, what are we going to talk about? What are we going to talk about with news? And even with this, we know like there's a ton of national news that's going on. So we appreciate you watching this channel. But there's been a couple things going on. One is just comical. Like, it's hilarious, and we're going to talk about that first. But then stay tuned because there's some trash talk going on between the Lions and the Bucks, and you're not going to be surprised on who's involved, but I want to give my opinion on what they said, so we're going to get into that too. But first, I want to talk to you about a very smart reporter that was talking about the weather and what the Detroit Lions will be playing and where the Bucks will be playing. So this is a reporter talking to Todd Bowles, who is the head coach of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, and I can't wait for you to hear what she's asking about. So I'm going to go ahead and play that audio for you.
The weather has been a factor in some of the playoff games, even for the most prepared teams. Today,
Crazy weather.
It's 13 in Detroit, which doesn't compare to some of the temperatures we've seen it drop to. Any special plans to acclimate the team to not only endure but perform in those kind of frigid temperatures should you face them in Detroit?
You do know we play indoors, right? They got a dome. I don't. No, nothing planned. We're indoors, and we only have to be outside for 20 seconds, getting off the bus, going under the thing, so we'll be okay.
We're only going to be indoors for 20 or outdoors for 20 seconds, getting off the bus, going into the thing. I'm sorry. Like, I could take this a lot of angles. I could take the angry Detroit versus everybody. Like, you don't have enough respect for the Detroit Lions to know they even play indoors. I could play the, are you kidding me with this reporter? Like, do your job and do a little research. Or I could play the, this is hilarious. And I'm going to fully be on board with the, this is hilarious. I think Todd Bowles' response was hilarious. Like, he tried to be nice. And he was like, hey, they play in a dome. You know, like, he's like, you know that, right? But then he just couldn't help himself. And he took the little jab about, like, maybe for the 20 seconds that, you know, we're going from the bus into where they play. But I think we'll be okay. I think we'll be all right. So, all right. So we got through that. What are your thoughts on that? Does this actually offend anyone? Or is it just one of those things that you think is hilarious? I know at the church, in the offices, we were playing this for each other, just laughing our butts off today. So now for the next one, we got some trash talk. And here's the thing. We know that C.J. Gardner-Johnson likes to run his mouth. Like, that's his thing, right? That's kind of his shtick. And so we understand that he loves to talk. And I'm going to give you my opinion in a second. I want yours. I want you to leave a comment on this. Are you happy with what C.J. Gardner-Johnson said? Does it make you upset? Does it concern you? Does it get you excited? Do you think it helps the Lions? Do you think it hurts the Lions? I want to know how you feel. Here's what he said. When asked in comments, Gardner-Johnson praised Tampa Bay's wide receiver duo of Evans and Godwin while saying they would benefit from a good quarterback. This is what he says specifically. This group probably is one of the better groups we done faced all year. Besides that Tampa group, Gardner-Johnson said, which doesn't make sense. If you give that Tampa group a good quarterback, that's a great group. Evans, Godwin, Gage, that's a great group. I played against them for real. Okay. So he goes out. He talks crap about Baker Mayfield, right? He basically says, Baker, you don't got it. The last time I saw an angry Baker, it didn't go well for the other team. He was playing for Oklahoma at the time, and it did not go well. Do I hope that his emotions get the best of him and he goes from there? Yes. Here's the problem. C.J. Gardner-Johnson made a critical error. He talked about a guy who hasn't played all year. He's on the IR. So here's what Baker said in response. I don't think he's really watched film because he mentioned Russell Gage. You know, we love Russell, but he hasn't played a snap this year for us. He must be going off the preseason stuff the media was talking about, but he didn't play our first game for us, so I'm excited to see him. So basically what he's saying is C.J. Gardner-Johnson didn't play in the game against us the first time, so he's excited to play against him. But mostly you just need to go back to film. And that does make me wonder, And so I have a little bit of a different take on this. Baker went on to say, I think he's a really good player. He's been for a while. He's been an impactful guy on every team he's been on. He's a good player, but yeah, just got to do a little more film study. Now, am I happy that Baker clapped back? Yes. Because now the team can rally around CJ and all that kind of stuff. Am I happy CJ said what he said? No. CJ Johnson has been saying thing after thing after thing since he got put back. He was angry about being in the rotation. He has been clapping at different players. Now he's telling the quarterback of the team we're about to play that he's not any good, while making it very obvious that no, he's not studying film. No, he hasn't looked at the film of the Bucs yet because he named a player that's not even on the team. Maybe he wasn't paying attention in the first game when he was sitting out. I don't know. But here's what I know. What's the point? And not only that, but he hasn't played good enough to merit this. Like, he played good enough last year for the Eagles, but in a Lions uniform, I will admit he was better. He was much better last week. Like, he was much better last week in the playoffs against the Rams than he was in the regular season. The last game of the regular season, he blew multiple coverages. So he's getting better, and I would expect him to continue to get better. In fact, again, I hope to see C.J. Gardner-Johnson and Ifeatu Melifonwu as our two safeties for the majority of the game. I really do hope to see that. But I just think that we have a very cohesive group with the Lions. We have a team that has gelled together well. They're not a team that goes out and talks crap. They're not a team that goes out. They just let their play do the talking. So I could take this one of two ways. I could take it way one, which is, dude, please be quiet. You're causing more trouble than you are good. But I could take it another way. I could take it the way of, if your play backs up your talk, if you go back up your talk in this game and you pick Baker off and we go out and we get the victory and the defense plays really well, then all of a sudden I'm going to go to the other way, and I'm going to go all the way back to the 90s, and I'm going to talk about when the 49ers signed Deion Sanders. And Deion Sanders came in and gave that defense a swagger that they hadn't had, and that 1994 San Francisco 49ers team is probably the best team I've ever seen play in my lifetime. It probably is. And he gave him a swagger. And then the very next year, he went to Dallas. And he won it for Dallas. And he brought that defense a swagger. And they beat the 49ers. The 49ers had beat the Cowboys. That's how it always went. So C.J. Gardner-Johnson, I'm not saying he's a Deion talent. No. Do not do that. Don't clip me saying stuff like that. All right? But could he bring that level of swagger to this team? Maybe, or at least a level of it that they kind of need. We don't have a rah-rah quarterback that's going to bring that kind of swagger. We don't have those types of things. So that edge, you know what? He knows what playoff football is about. Let him bring the edge. Let's see. So I want you to leave a comment. Are you in favor of what C.J. Gardner-Johnson said? Or are you like, come on, man. Come on. So let me know what you think. Excited. We'll keep doing videos every day. We got some good stuff coming up for you. Oh, I can't wait to watch the Lions play the Bucs. See you on the next one.